but I'm also going to do a backup recording, so we have 2 recordings so that we're following policy. And again, this is part of our, it's so easy to forget to record, which is why we all support each other and work together as a team so that we're double checking and triple checking everything. This doesn't seem to be working. Oh, is that right?
Okay.
No. Let me try again. Oh, let's see. Yeah.
This service is provided in high definition by freeconferencecallhd.com. You are the only participant in the conference. The recording has started.
I believe our recording options and training people to do recordings is part of our leadership training. I can't remember exactly where it falls, but yeah, recordings are required, and then you just do recordings, and everyone should easily be able to do recordings. There's like a ton of different ways to do it. All right, so are you ready for vocabulary, or do you have other questions? Did I finish answering all your questions, or what? Hello?
Maybe we need to go over this again so that the recording can take it, since we didn't record it at the time. Is that
well,
okay? Or we can just move forward?
I mean, I can just review what we went over, but we definitely need to do a better recording and do official training recordings and all that. I mean, there's the responsibility training is never completed. We always are improving it. So,
Okay.
but yeah, we can always do more recordings, and the more we get organized, the better recordings. But there's 2 types of recordings, right? So, 2 types of recordings. There's something we call a session recording. And then we would have like an official training recording. So during an official training recording is where it's more of like a segment, right? And so we do a segment on specifically the recording for that responsibility. And we would, use the responsibility training, go over it, and just kind of give an overview of the actual training itself as quickly as possible so that it's a short, professional, clear video on the training itself. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
Our session recordings is just like our general, like you could call it like raw or unedited, So there's no edit of the session recordings, whereas the official training recordings would be like, for a session recording, I'd be like start at minute, 7 and go to minute 12, right? Whereas official training recordings would be like the entire video, right? Would be, the exact length to watch, right? It should be an actual training video, right? And you just watch the training video and then you're done, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the session recording could be 2 hours long and you're only supposed to watch 3-4 minutes of it. That make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, we can go through recording some other time, but it's good to make sure we have clarity on our recordings because it is part of our policies and our policy training. All right, so let's go into the vocabulary, okay?
Okay.
So we have RTVA. Let's start with that. What is RTVA?
Really virtual assistant. Real-time virtual assistant.
Real-time virtual assistant, right? And typically when we say RTVA, we're talking about work, right? We're doing work to support the real-time virtual assistant goals, right? So then we have RTVA shift. So as I said before, this is a 6-hour shift that is a quarter day, which is a single, what we call a quadrant, right? Which is equal to 2 octants, right? That makes sense?
Okay.
And the shift is not real time at all, right? So there's no, you don't show up for your shift. You do not show up or work the whole shift. Okay, so the primary goal of the shift is to support the team and the executive to be organized and accomplishing the goals for that 6 hours, right? So basically, being the RTVA for that shift means that you are responsible for making sure the work of the team moves forward. It doesn't mean you're doing work at all. That make sense?
So that does that mean that, for example, you kind of remind the team of what they're supposed to do?
That is exactly correct. And we call that communication. So the entire RTVA shift and the whole RTVA process is communications, 100% communications. Okay.
Okay.
So then we have the RTVA shift process, right? So the process would be the responsibilities assigned to achieve the goals of the shift. Okay.
Hmm.
Cool. Then other vocabulary would include VA session and VA work, right? So VA, we'll just call it VA session, and then we have a normal session, right? So normal session and VA session. So normal session is when workers support each other, and the executive supports the workers to accomplish their work. Okay. So for example, the session we're having right now would be what we call a normal buddy team work session. Okay.
Okay.
A VA work session. A VA work session is a VA buddy team work session, right? Is where the workers support the executive to help the executive accomplish uh, their work. Okay.
Mhm.
So
So in a practical form, what does that entail? I mean, the worker support, the VA buddy team work session.
practically, that's primarily silent work.
Okay.
But it's also tasks and being organized and prioritizing. I mean, whatever needs to be prioritized during the session, just like any other session, we do the work, right?
Okay.
Yeah. But the key thing here is that 99% of all sessions that we do are normal buddy team work sessions, which means 99% of my time is spent helping workers basically not accomplish work. Do you think that's a good thing for the organization?
No.
No. All right, we're out of time. So maybe we should continue some more time on this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let's do a little bit less time because we should be able to move on to our plan at some point. We can do like a 2.1 RTVA. Oh, we go. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Continue RTVA training. Let's say 6 to 12 more minutes. Sound good?
Yeah.
And that was good that we did our timekeeping, right? So let's do the timekeeping some more. 12 more minutes. All right. So reviewing continue to review vocabulary and answer questions. All right. So topic 2 and 2. So 99% of all sessions that we do are normal buddy team sessions where I'm basically spending endless hours trying to help people do their work that they're not doing. So who is the most efficient, effective worker in the organization?
You definitely.
Me, obviously, by like 10 times. So if workers are not helping me get work done, we're just destroying the organization. Right? So the worst
Hmm.
possible thing that we could not have is VA session. and do RTVA shifts. Like there's nothing worse to the organization than basically to have all of my time spent helping people who are not accomplishing the work. Instead, we want to focus our best worker to be getting supported to actually do better work, right? And make sure there's at least some balance. Like maybe it's never going to be 50-50, but at least 25% of sessions should be VA sessions each week, right? If we're trying to be a functional organization, right? So that is like one of our core problems here that is going on in the organization, and basically it was just being ignored until maybe a month or two ago when we actually started implementing the functionality plan, which now has a new pay stop model. So let's go over the policy real quick. So the policy is that every week the team is required to attempt 2 RTVA shifts. Actually, required to do 2 RTVA shifts and to attempt 2 VA sessions. Attempt to schedule 2 VA sessions. So it's important to understand that the RTVA shift is not the session. The VA session is what we're attempting to schedule and do. That make sense? During the RTVA shift. Right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Nima, in terms of the policy? Nemo, did we lose you? You're muted again? Nemo. I guess we lost Nemo. So then the other policy is that every worker is required to take on 1 RTVA shift per week, which means that if we have 7 workers or however many there are, that should equal a minimum of 7 plus RTVA shifts per week, and at least 4 to 6, say 4 to 5 attempts, right? So we should be able to meet this policy, but we don't. So do you understand the policy, Nima?
Yes.
Cool. So if the workers miss the 2 RTVA shifts for the week, it is 50% pay stop. Right? Then every RTVA shift missed after that is 5% more pay stop all the way to 100%. Right? And we have been doing like a half RTVA attempt it can be counted as 2.5% or whatever. So we have been playing around a little with that to just try our best to keep the percentage pay stop as low as possible. And then the only thing, for me, I would say that the first 2 is 25% pay stop for the first 2 RTVA shifts, right? So in order to get on 100% pay stop, we're looking at 2 for the first 50% and then 10 for the second 50%, which is equal a total of 12 weeks, which is it'd be 12 shifts, which would be 1 week each, so 6 weeks, which is 1.5 months. So it takes a month and a half of not working to get on 100% pay stop. So, and then just to understand the current status, we are, let's go to the leadership team. Actually, leadership team. No. There we go. So this was the 77.5. where we're at now. So it would be the next new moon. So go to Moon Giant. So we are at February. We just said February 9th, so it's February 16th. Yes, so that is correct. So February 16th. So the date is wrong, but the amount is wrong. The date is correct, but the amount is wrong. So we're currently on 77. No, we are on 77.5 plus 5. So you would add 5. So this would be 82.5, I think. Okay. So basically, if we don't complete one more RTVA session, 82. We would go to 82.5% RTVA attempt. That makes sense? That's the current deadline. Does that make sense or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because we could accomplish. So if you look at the schedule, you can see that we did accomplish one RTVA session this week with Sandra, which is great. So that would count as one. So we only have one left for this week, which would be by the first quarter moon. And so that means we have just one more to do for this week to prevent 82.5% pay stop.
Okay.
And if we can get at least a half of an attempt, then we could go to just 80% to do a 0.5 RTVA attempt, right? Just do at least a half. It would be 80%. So are there questions, or do we like get through the basics? Or I mean, obviously I could do more details and training and everything, but I don't know if that was necessarily our priority right now. Mainly we just want to review and answer questions.
Yeah, this is okay. This is okay.
My issue is just on preparation. When you start to do preparation, we have uh, a lot of responsibilities that you need to follow. You miss this, you have to go back again and check. Like now, my session is just gone like that. We could have even been out of that. That really demoralized me from taking this. I don't know which is the better way of this. And we really request many times, Jay, to at least simplify the process of RTVA. If you
Yeah, I
simplify
mean,
RTVA session, will be people will take RTVA, and I think the most for me challenges is when we start preparing. You go to setup, you have zero setup, you have this from zero setup, you have up to some don't know how many. Another one on preparation, you have setup, you have number one, number two, number three, up to four. Like that, like that. All these are taking time. Kindly simplify.
okay, so there's two different types of simplification. Two different types of simplification. One type of simplification is to remove, delete, stop, and reduce, right? And then the other type of simplification is to add more steps to make the steps simpler, right? So what I find is I tell someone to do something, and then when they're not able to do it, instead of giving them one goal in one step, we break it down to 5 steps so that they can do one step at a time to make it simpler for them. Do you see the difference between taking something that someone doesn't understand and then simplifying it to 5 separate steps that are so simple that they should be able to understand them?
Yeah, for me, I really usually find it confusing. I'm trying to understand. You just go back and forth. At the day, by the end of the day, you are having energy. I'm going to have my shift and it's gone.
Okay, so what is the first policy on the preparation, right? Which is that the preparation needs to happen the day before, right? Where this is professional executive level support, it cannot be chaos the day of and right before the shift's supposed to begin. That is unacceptable. Like the shift should be smooth, organized, and professional and focused, and the work should be getting done throughout the day. So if someone's not organized and they have no idea what's going on and it's just chaos, it's just not helpful. So the preparation must happen the day before, otherwise the shift is automatically canceled, right? Does that make sense, Nnamno?
Yeah, yeah, it
Right. So
does.
the last thing
So,
we want
so
is chaos during the shift. That is just completely unacceptable, right? So if no preparation has happened or the preparation has not happened to a sufficient amount before the shift, then the shift is automatically canceled because the preparation wasn't done.
so what do we refer to as the preparation?
Okay, well, let's just go through the preparation real quick, but we're out of time. So should we do another topic?
Let's do the preparation. I think that would be the best,
Yeah.
so that
So
we can just I can just understand this.
yeah, so let's do RTVA training, but instead of focusing on vocabulary and questions, we're focusing on the preparation training. This is responsibility number 1. Okay. And I think it probably would take more like 9 to 18 minutes to get through this. That sound good?
Okay.
And then let's do a view up. Make sure we're all right. I heard something. Let's just double check, make sure. Benjamin's here. What's up, Benjamin?
I'm good. Good. But a
Who's
bit
that?
late.
You're late? What do you mean?
I thought I started a while ago.
What's going on? I'm confused. Were you scheduled for today? We started an hour and a half ago. Or hour and 20 minutes ago. Benjamin, I can't hear you.
I just went on Discord and saw Nnamno talk about joining something, so I just came in and saw that you guys were active.
Okay, but you should be communicating on Discord. And overall, you're currently the inactive substitute, right? So you should be communicating and then scheduling on Discord in relationship to your work, and you want to prepare for week 3, which is when you're currently be activated. I think we're probably going to end up activating you tomorrow or in a couple days, just because there's still not a lot of work getting done, right? Okay, does that sound right?
All right, that's good.
Well, yeah, so, but definitely send a message on Discord. Ask about your activation, and I want to prioritize that a topic here today, and then maybe do a proposal to activate you at least temporarily for now, because I do think we are still under hours. But we just need to give at least another day chance. Okay. So let's do Benjamin activation. Cool. Review hours and totals to see if Benjamin. We could also consider Mamoon as well. Benjamin and Mamoon. All right, so Benjamin, do you need anything else? Or are you going to take off for?
I'll take off for a while.
Cool. Yeah, and technically it's policy tracking. Policy training, yes. So you're taking off or what?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just waiting. All right, so I don't know, maybe we should jump on FQN or something? Oh, there we go. Okay, fine. Yay, okay, Benjamin bounced. So technically against policy to jump on without communicating on Discord first, right? And if someone communicates on Discord and then we don't respond within 3 minutes, then they jump on. All right? That makes sense?
It's break.
Yeah.
You have to take a break.
Oh, we're at the break? Okay.
Yeah.
So policy tracking 0.1 hour for jumping on Jitsi without communicating on Discord first. All right, sweet. So let's do.
We are taking break, Jay.
Yeah, and then we'll get into this to the training on the preparation. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. So quick break.
How many minutes break?
Till bottom of the hour, so let's do 2 more minutes. All right, I'm back.
All right, I'm here.
Well, all right. So preparation.
I'm back.
The main things of preparation are review, policy training, team priorities, executive priorities, and scheduling. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the goal. Wait, let's get the link. So we're going to responsibility number 1, preparation. And the goal is to professionally communicate, priority schedule, and coordinate with the executive center and achieve an attempted VA session. Ideally, actually complete a VA session. Okay. So that's the goal. So let's go through each one here. So reviewing, you're just going to review the current status and what happened during the last RTVA shift. This also, if it was your own shift, I mean, you can basically skip it, right? Because you already know what happened. So are there any questions on the review? And just so we're clear here, these are the steps. So the review is technically step 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one is policy training. So policy training, you're starting with yourself. Be sure to do your policy training on missing previous shifts and scheduling late, etc. Right? So making sure you're following the policies, and if not, then doing the training, and then do this for the rest of the team. So basically, we're verifying that everyone has done their policy training, RTVA. That's step 2. So any questions on the policy training?
Yeah, it's. I think it's okay.
Yeah. So my understanding for you, Lucy, you were not able to even start step 2. Is that correct?
No, I already started step 2. I know. I even sent a message. Joyce was not around. She's supposed to do policy training.
She's on leave though.
Yes, and Sandy was already there. She was doing so. Then there's person that she could have done.
But all you said was preparation step 2, and then you said, yeah, we can do it together. Did step 0 and step 1, and then you said your internet failed and you were not able to communicate. So I just don't see where you did step 2. Maybe I'm just missing it. But
Steps 2, can you see Joyce? Step 2, the team schedule of COBOL is Joyce and okay.
What do you mean, Joyce?
Joyce was to do policy training.
Where?
I just write it on the, I don't know. Why is not showing there?
Under policy keeping or?
No. Let me review again. Unless maybe I did not send it. I sent it.
Usually we use the policy keeping channel for our coordination of the policies. But anyways, I don't really care. It's not a big deal that we didn't make progress on it, but it's just helpful for us all to experience the same thing and what's verifiable.
Yes. Right? I said Joyce do policy training for not doing the RTVA schedule session.
Okay, where
on RTVA duty responsibility. It was at 11:44 my time. I don't know your time. After you say you seem you stop, then I respond, I lost the internet. I'm back.
You said you did on Ativity team. You can copy and paste it. Oh, you mean right here? Oh yeah, you just came back. Okay, I see. Joyce do policy training. Okay, cool. So you got started on number 2. Cool. Yeah. So I see that now. I just saw the lost the internet and back now, and then you've made a message here.
Yeah.
This is wrong though, right? So you need to delete that, and you need to do policy training for incorrect information. So this would be 0.1 or 0.25.
Why is it incorrect information?
I already told you. So Joyce is on leave. She's sick. She has COVID. She took leave. You remember or you don't remember? Like if
So
you're sick, call it sick, you're not
then
required.
now she's not around. Who then what? Okay, let me delete then.
Yeah, there's no currently there's no backup. So it's if Joyce can't do it, then it just doesn't happen because nobody was scheduled to back up.
Okay, let me do policy training.
Yeah.
I'm deleting.
Well, all right. So let's go back to our notes. So where are we? So do we have any other questions on the policy training?
So when we ask someone to do policy training as let's say as a punishment for not doing something.
Again, it's not a punishment. It's like if they broke the policy, it's training to learn, because if people don't learn, then the organization fails.
Oh,
Right? So
okay. So what?
punishment for not following the policies is against the organization. So the workers don't do the work for the organization. The punishment is against the worker is punishing the organization. That's how I see it.
Okay.
Right? The
Okay.
idea that somehow because we're asking people to follow policies, somehow we're punishing them, I think
A
is
wrong
an
way to express
because
it.
if workers can just destroy the organization by not following the policies and just do whatever they want to, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, how if we want to call it punishment, that's fine. I don't see it as punishment. I see it as our training process. It's one of our most important training processes to be logging um when we
So
break policy, to log it so we know.
yeah. So what that means? I say it now. It's not a punishment. So what that means is basically the fact that if the person didn't do that, the person needs to go and review the what the person review or learn how to do it.
Yeah. And that's what the policy training log is that the
Okay.
policy training log is where we can verify that a worker has actually learned the policy. Because if they don't actually write it down, we went through this. Oh yeah, of course I understand it. Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't do it. And they just do it again and again and again and they never ever learn. So the only way to actually verify that the worker understands the policy is that they write it down. And even after that, I would say at least 1 in every 5, if not 2 in every 5 policy trainings, workers write down the policy incorrectly, and then you have to train them and correct it sometimes multiple times so that they understand the policy that they actually broke. Right? So just
Okay.
because someone does policy training and writes it down doesn't mean they understand it. We have to actually go there, review what they wrote, actually see if it's the policy that they broke. Because a lot of times they'll write something random down that has nothing to do with the policy that they broke because they actually don't know what they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to understand how the policy training is done. So there is a tab or there is a worksheet for
It's
you
just
to log in. Mhm.
it's just a channel. Yeah. So it's just a channel. We have 2 types of policy training. There's organizational policy training and there's session policy training. And then we have a
Mhm.
channel for policy keeping. So at name this is where we coordinate policy uh, policy keeping, right? So policy keeping is where we communicate about making sure people are logging their policy training. So then if you go down to here, we have the organizational policy training, and then you have the session policy training. Okay.
Okay, I
So
see.
for me, for example, for Lucy here, 0.1 hour for wrong information, it's correct. Like, incorrect information, if it's very minor, is 0.1 hours. But for me, when you are asking a worker who is on leave and sick to do work, it is a bigger policy. So it's a 0.25 hours policy training for me because it's more severe because it's not just incorrect information. It's not like saying, oh yeah, I wrote something on the spreadsheet when you really didn't or whatever. It's like, okay.
No, Jay, do we have a policy where it's written when you follow the policy of RTVA, if someone signed and that person is on leave, you should not you should not say anything like policy training. We don't have.
The policy is that when
We should
someone's
then have the policy because I assume she has signed for it and she's off. According to policy, I was also following the policies as well.
I don't understand. So anyways, I mean, we can re-vote on
I
the
was
proposal.
following also policies.
So the re-vote would be that when someone is sick and on leave, we should not be asking them to do any work. This is the same thing is true when someone is inactive, right? Unless it is essential, highest priority for the organization, right? So basically any minor thing or even policy training or anything related to someone who's sick or on leave or inactive or whatever, they shouldn't be asked to do anything because it would be the opposite of them being sick or being on leave, right? That makes sense? Or being inactive.
Okay.
It's just treating someone as a human being, right? If someone's on sick, if they're sick and they have COVID or they're getting an operation, they're recovering or whatever, we can't just be sending them a bunch of messages on Discord trying to pretend like they're working, right? That's completely unprofessional.
Oh my, I was not pretending. I was following the policy. I did not know. We did not have a policy whereby if someone is on leave, if someone is sick, you should not send the message. But anyway,
That's why we do policy training.
The training. But we should have the policy that guiding us. When instead of saying pretending, I don't pretend. I treat everybody like a human. I don't treat anyone like not being a human. So the policy was not there. That guide us.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know what you're trying to say, but the point here is that it has nothing to do with you, Lucy. It just has to do with our organization. Whenever we're communicating with workers who are on leave or they're sick, it should be like the minimal. So anytime anybody, like, I don't even care about you doing it, Lucy. What I want you to do is if you see someone else do it, you immediately tell them to do policy training and you make sure that they learn the policy. Because otherwise, if you allow other people to do that, it's not treating people as a human being. Do you understand? Like, that's what I want you to do. I want you to step up as a leader and make sure all the new recruits and everybody is treating everyone like a human being and not asking them to do anything if they are sick. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't care that you might have done it before. I just don't care. What I care is that we treat people like human beings in the future. That's why we do policy training. You understand? Like, everything in the past is done. It's over. Let's just go to the future.
I edit my policy anyway.
Cool. Okay. So anyways, whenever we're talking about, for me, whenever we talk about policy training, yes, the policy was broken in the past, but the purpose of policy training has nothing to do with the past. It has 100% everything to do with the future so that we don't break this policy again. We already broke it. It's done. The whatever happened already happened. Who cares? I don't care. The issue is making sure it doesn't happen again in the future. That's all I care about in relationship to policy training. Right? Okay. So anything else on policy training? Nnamno, are you understand it? And oh, here's an example. So is anyone doing time tracking? We had 9 to 18 minutes for this topic. So this would be policy training, right? So the reason we do policy training here is not like, oh, we just forgot to do timekeeping. Like, again, let's just say it for the 115th time, right? It's like, no, we actually want to learn to do this, and all of us need to be doing timekeeping. It's insane that we can't do it, and that I have to say it for 115th time, and 116th time, and 117th time. It is insane. We have to learn, okay? So not doing timekeeping. So 0.25 hour policy tracking minimum. That makes sense. So I come in here and I go into policy training. And we need to start doing policy training for not doing policy training. So session policy training, 0.25 hours for not doing time. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So basically
Yes.
what I'm over is that people not doing the policy training, and so I'm getting over it, right? It's like I probably asked you, Nnamno, to do policy training at least 5 times, during various sessions, and you don't do it. So it's like, if you don't want to do the policy training, then just do policy training for not doing policy training. So you don't want to do policy training, that's fine. But then you're breaking policy. And so then you do policy training for not doing policy training log. You understand? You understand, Nnamno, or not?
Sorry, yes, I do. Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah. So basically, the only way to learn sometimes as an organization is to just stop. Because if we continue, people just don't care. That's what policy training is all about. Okay, so Lucy, Nnamno, it's like, we need to make sure we are following policies. So how much time do you think is left? Maybe 6 minutes?
I think, yeah.
Okay, so we'll do 6 minutes, but I'm not going to continue until everyone does their policy training, because it is getting very frustrating when people don't do it. So do you have any questions, Nnamno, on how to do it, or do you understand? Nnamno?
Yes, I want to do policy training now.
Yeah, so you're going to log your policy training. You go to the session policy training.
Yeah.
And then you do, yeah, there you go. Good, cool. So in this case, it's 0.25 hours for not doing timekeeping, and then we also have 0.5 hours for not recording from before, right? I'm sure there's other policies that we're breaking, but those are the 2 most important ones. And it's important to note that we only do policy training logs and policy training and policy keeping on our priority policies that we're trying to learn. Once we either learn them, or once that if they're just not a priority at the moment, we just don't worry about it, okay? There's always a policy that we're breaking at some level, but sometimes they're just not priorities. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool, awesome. All right, so let's continue now. So anything else on policy training?
So now that we've okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's
and
fine.
just to back up a little bit, I think it's very important that, like, if we're way behind on our policy training, I don't care about the priorities. I don't care about the scheduling. I care about the policy training. So if all we do is get caught up on our policy training so that the next shift we can spend 0 time on policy training, I am super happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no hurry on anything. Like, if all we do is the policy training, and we go through each worker, let's say there's 7 workers, we verify each one what their status is. They're either, everything's up to date, they've done their policy training, or they're meeting all required policies. Otherwise, they need to do policy training, and then it's like, hey, this is how much policy training they need to do, and we need to check and verify that they've done it. So we might want to have, like, under the work organizing spreadsheet for RTVA process, that we might have a list of all the workers and their current status in relationship to the policy training, so that we can keep track of it from shift to shift, right?
Okay.
So that would be a really good idea for someone to do. So, I would just kind of, I guess the task would be to make sure we have our work organizing for our TBA shifts. Okay, so step 3 is team priorities. Wait, are we done with the policy training? Was there any more on that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So let's go on to the team priorities. So the team priorities, there's really just two places where the team priorities occur. One is, well, I mean, I guess like anything else, the team could have other priorities as well, you know? So there's really three places that you could get team priorities. So let's go through the three places for team priorities. So team priorities. The first and easiest is the team's regular schedule, right? So the team regular schedule is obviously the first and foremost place. The most important thing to understand about RTVA shift is that the number one priority is always the team. Why is the number one priority for an RTVA shift always the team? What is the number one priority for the executive? Why do I spend 99% of all of my scheduled
For the
time
team.
for the team? Yeah.
For the team to be able to do their work.
Yeah. But the executives, like, so the virtual assistant work for the executive's number one priority is and will always be supporting the team, first and foremost. If the team collapses, nothing else matters for the executive. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. So that is always the number one priority. So this has been a problem in the past where someone takes on their RTVA shift, they completely ignore the team, they cancel all the sessions, all they try to do is help the executive, and all they do in helping the executive is make a huge problem for the executive. Right? So if all you're trying to do is help the executive and then completely ignore the team, you're making things worse for the executive, and it makes the job for the executive a million times worse. The opposite of helping the executive to ignore the team. Okay, so the team always comes first. We have the team regular schedule. The second part would be the deadlines, right, and leadership for the team. Team deadlines and leadership responsibilities, right? So what are the deadlines for the day for that shift? Like what deadlines need to be accomplished during that shift for the team, right? Because without that information, we're nothing else matters. And sometimes maybe we'll be like, okay, well, we have other priorities that are more important than deadlines, which happens, right? There are always priorities that could be higher priority than money. Money is way down on the list and for me. All right, so then you have the third one would be like other team priorities. Like maybe it's not a deadline, maybe it's something else that the team wants to do that's really important. Maybe it's like, you know, payroll or reimbursements or whatever it is. The team wants to do it, so we prioritize it, make sure that it happens. Okay, and you might find that on like Discord or from a session notes, right? Discord or session notes, wherever we're documenting the team's priorities. All right, so those are the primary three things for the team's priorities, and you would just document that on the tab for the team priorities list, right? So now we're going into the RTVA priorities spreadsheet. So if you go into the process, we have the link to the list of priorities.
We have 1 minute remaining for the topic, and also we need to go for break.
Oh, we missed break. Oh, this is another policy teach means that even though we're doing the breaks, we're not doing our rhythm, right? So that's another policy training. So 0.5 hours for not doing rhythm, right? So you missed it 2 shifts now. All right, so the list of priorities is here. So you come in here and you can see the first tab should be the team priorities. And it says the team priority right now is the main session, which obviously the team priority for today is not the main session because that was literally like 5 days ago. Okay. Cool. So let's take a break, like 4-minute break. And then when we come back, if there's more questions about team priorities, we can go into that. Otherwise, we think we need to do a view up, right? And see if we want to continue this topic. So we still had team priorities, executive priorities, and the scheduling. So we're almost done here. Let's take a break, and then we can come back and see if we want to continue or what we want to do.
Okay.
Cool.
And it's 4 o'clock. Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
All right, I'm back. So I think we're on a view up. So I want to see if we want to continue or if we want to go on to the next topic or what. Maybe no one's back yet.
Yeah, I'm back.
So what should we do? Should we go on the next topic or should we continue or we do more on the preparation training or
we can do more preparation. Remain, we can work on. Is RTVA planning the same as executive preparation?
what? RTVA planning the same as executive preparation? I don't know what you're talking about.
Is the same as a preparation? Sorry, I mean to say preparation.
No.
Okay, let's do another view on RTVA.
I mean, I don't know why people are not able to do the RTVA sessions, but it's a major problem in relationship to our pay stops, right? That we need to figure out. And it has nothing to do with you. It's just like the whole
Time
team
to
is
pause.
not
Please
scheduling and
stop.
doing RTVA.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Sandra did a pretty good job, right? She did one session this week, but it's the 13th of 3 days. We have 3 days left to do another session. So we're fine in terms of doing 2 sessions for the week, but we're not fine in terms of getting off pay stop.
Yeah, I think that's where the issue is.
All right, well, let's just see what's going on with Nnamno. Message. So we do, and also what's the plan for, it looks like we're in the last hour of Andromeda, so we might want to stop and make a plan for Cobalt. See if anything's scheduled, and the answer is no. Nothing scheduled for Cobalt Hour 2.
No, it's here. It is, we schedule. We are Tuesday. You're in a wrong. Go next, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? On Tuesday, Wednesday, Jay, we have POS.
Also, we need someone to step up to do the Octant lead for Joyce, because Joyce is on leave again, so we need Octant lead. Hello?
I just refreshed.
Yeah,
After I
you're
saw it, I was just, I mean, I saw the whole thing on my screen. I thought it was just there. Like, I thought you were not just talking or you weren't back.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, relax.
So what should we do for moving forward here? We probably need to start wrapping up soon, and we could consider scheduling for Cobalt.
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you.
Do we want to
Okay.
continue the RTV training and the preparation? Do we want to go on
Yes.
to the planning?
Yes, I want
Figure
to
out
continue.
we want to continue. Okay.
Yes.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
All right. So let's just continue. Maybe just a little bit longer, like 6 to 12 minutes. That sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going into 2.3. All right. So
Jay, can you shift the screen just a little bit so we can see the time? No, like the
Oh, yes.
yeah. No, the time is down here and it's covered a little bit. We're just seeing 11.
Is that better?
Yeah, correct. Yes,
Okay.
correct.
So we did the team priorities. So again, team priorities is basically the team schedule, deadlines, and other priorities for the team. Okay. So then team priorities is step 3. Step 4 is executive priorities. So remember, team priorities are executive priorities, but it's the team schedule and like what is due that day that's important to make sure we're stepping up on. So executive priorities is just making sure there is clarity on the priorities for the executive for that half day, or no, quarter day. So again, it's the same thing. You know, we have the list of priorities. You would go to the priorities tab and you would typically duplicate it and put the new date and time. And then we would update these.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So the last time that they were updated was more like February 8th or 9th. So probably 5-7 days out since they were updated before. You know, these were just attempts at updating. I don't know why there's so few, or like you never want to delete anything unless you're asked to delete it. You just add things, and you can prioritize them. Yeah. All right. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else to say about priorities. Like priorities, we just want to make sure we have clarity on some of the priorities for what needs to happen during that session.
It's okay.
And then the focus is just really clarity on the focus of the session, relates to the priorities. But mainly it's just communicating back and forth about, okay, this is the situation in the organization, this is what we need to prioritize, this is the situation for the executive, this is what needs to be prioritized. So,
Okay. So who sets, are these priorities the same all the time, or it changes weekly?
Every single contains multiple times during a day or even during the same shift.
Okay.
Right. So for example, you know, a new recruit submits a POP. Boom, that changes the priorities. You know, a potential client wants to schedule, that changes the priorities. You know, we need to, you know, a deadline's coming up and, you know, we need to do that. Or something comes up with, you know, the executive's family and they need to, you know, take partial leave or whatever. I mean, there's just so many different possible priorities that could come up in any given 6-hour period. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But the key here, the key goal is to make sure there's clarity on the priorities and then make sure that the team knows, make sure the team knows what the executive's priorities are, right? I mean, that's the whole idea here, is that if nobody asks, nobody will have any idea. And that's what usually happens, is everyone's only concerned with their own priorities and what they want to work on and getting paid for themselves. They don't actually think about the priorities for the team or the executive or anyone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. So anyways, I don't know if you guys have other questions
Time
about
to
this.
stretch. Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
Quick stretch. So I don't know if you have any more questions about the executive priorities, but then the last priority here is that we really need to go over is the scheduling. I mean, the scheduling is not particularly complicated.
What about now? Can you jump to preparation without going to set up?
Well, right now we're talking about the preparation. Are you done with the preparation? You want to talk about setup?
No,
Well,
I
my
was just
answer
asking.
would be no. You always start with setup. Like, you shouldn't be skipping any responsibilities.
Okay.
I mean, if you're not set up for success, then you're going to fail, right? So everything we do, we always set up, right? Step 0 is setup. So, you know, if we go through, like, I skipped the setup because it's just not complicated. It's just, there's nothing to train. Like, it's like setup. Understand your role and ask me questions. I mean, this is the setup right here. Like, you're doing training, you're learning. Be sure to review the role and ask me questions. Double check time and chosen for your shift. Make sure that you know who comes before and after you. That's the setup. I mean, that should take a minute or less. Maybe 10 seconds. If you don't know, maybe a little more time, but
Nice,
but
okay.
as far as the setup responsibility for the entire process is very important to get set up and make sure you have everything organized and choosing. I mean, if you don't choose your slot, it's never gonna, the shift doesn't even happen. So it's not possible to skip the setup, because you do actually have to have an RTVA shift, which you can't have without the setup. Does that make sense? You also need to have your self-driven responsibilities. Super duper important.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just ignore that, right? But that's not what we're talking about right now. Right now we're talking about the preparation.
Yes, sure. Sorry for taking you back. Let's continue.
Yeah. But it's just good, Nnamno. You just need to understand that the RTVA process itself has multiple responsibilities that we're not talking about. Right now we're only talking about the preparation because that's what you guys wanted to do. So
Yes.
there's 5 responsibilities, including the setup, so it's 6, right? So responsibility 0 is the setup.
Time to pause.
Then
Please
you have the
stop.
preparation.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So responsibility 3 is basically the deputy position in coordinating and administrating the RTVA process. And then responsibility 4 is the leadership responsibility in notifying people the current status of the pay stops, right? Notifying all the workers the current status of the pay stops. All right, anyway, so any other questions on the executive priorities?
No.
So how about scheduling? I think scheduling step 6. And just so you know, the reason why it's broken up into all these steps is because people aren't able to schedule, right? Scheduling is focus and priorities. You have your team priorities, your focus, your executive priorities. Like, that's what's required to do effective scheduling. So we break it up into the steps, because if you just say scheduling, everyone skips the focus and the priorities, and they just want to schedule and not think about what they're scheduling for. Right? So that's why we have the steps, is because over and over and over again, everyone didn't follow the scheduling tasks and actually just ignored the priorities and the focus. All right, so that's why they're separate steps. So you could just say scheduling, and scheduling should include having clear priorities and clear, goals for the session that's being scheduled and what the focus is. So we break it up into separate steps because everyone just skips that. So any questions on the scheduling? I mean, scheduling is just like any other scheduling. You're scheduling a VA session to focus on the work. Also, it's good to note that you can schedule a VA session at any time that has nothing to do with RTVA. Like it doesn't have to be an RTVA session in order to be a VA session, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And the difference between, if we go into the vocabulary, so you have an RTVA shift. So an RTVA VA session, the VA session during RTVA shift versus a VA session, instead of normal session could be like, this would be the worker could choose the VA work, whereas in the RTVA shift, the executive chooses the VA work. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
So we can always schedule a VA session, like let's say on assets, right? We need to work on our crypto assets or our stock assets. We need to get organized with all of our assets. That would be a VA session. And so we do the VA session on the assets, which is very important. We need to prioritize that, right? But in an RTVA shift, if the assets are not the top priority for the executive, then you prioritize something. You prioritize a different VA session that is based on the priorities of the executive. Even though an assets session would be very important, right? It's probably up there on the list. If it's not the number one priority, then maybe asset session is not the best thing to do at that time.
Yeah. We have
we could
30
still do an asset
seconds.
session. We could still do an asset session, and then we just do it instead.
Okay.
Have to have an RTVA shift to schedule an asset session.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, the point here is that you just do normal scheduling. Like if you have questions about scheduling, I can go through that, but
yes, please. We should go, but we have 9 seconds, so we'll have to increase time.
Okay, but if you want to go over scheduling, it has nothing to do with RTVA. It's just normal scheduling.
Okay. Time is up.
And I can give an example. So example, VA session on focus would be assets for Cobalt Power 2. Friday, Saturday, Anyways, it's just an example. You're just, sending a message, getting agreement. You need agreement to schedule. Anyways,
can we set up time?
Well, we're definitely going over at this point. I mean, if we're gonna do Cobalt session, we need to wrap up and stop, and we can endlessly talk about, do endless training, but this is a buddy team work session. Like we're supposed to be doing work, right? So like we can spend 10 more hours training on RTVA, and then do no RTVA sessions and continue to be on 100% pay stop for RTVA. You understand?
Yeah, I think that would be the best.
To
do the work. Yeah, to do the work.
Yeah, that's like getting to work and actually just doing it is the best way to learn, right? Because we can sit here and talk about it forever. It doesn't going to help us get the work done.
Yeah.
But either way, if we want to schedule for Cobalt, like we are at time, if no one wants to do Cobalt, then I'm willing to go another half hour or so. And then we can just continue. And then just if we cancel Cobalt,
we have POS Cobalt. We have
1, 2.
Me and you schedule for Cobalt POS.
Oh, we do have Cobalt scheduled. Yeah. So I mean, if we're gonna do Cobalt, we need to stop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. So there is Cobalt session today.
Yeah, we need to stop.
So I think that we should wrap up and then check out.
Okay.
Cool. So shall we go to wrap up?
Yes.
Cool. So my primary goal for today was certainly to get to the RTVA plan to prevent and end the pay stops, which we didn't do. So that for sure is the next step, to actually get to the plan and actually coordinate and get organized to do the work, as opposed to just training.
Okay.
Because we need to figure out how to get workers to do the RTVA shifts. Like, it's not difficult, it's not complicated. Sure, maybe it's challenging, maybe it can be frustrating, but the only reason we even have RTVA shifts is because nobody wants to schedule the RVA sessions, right? So, I mean, if I hire someone to schedule RVA sessions, they should just do it. But instead, people don't want to do it, and now we're years in, and it's like everyone just refuses to schedule. So now we have pay stops, and we have policies, and we have all of these, like you're saying, Lucy, oh, everything's so complicated. Well, everything's so complicated because nobody wants to do the work. So now we have all of these policies, and we have all of these shifts, and we have the calendars, and we have the slots, and everybody needs to follow the responsibilities because no one wants to do the work of just simply scheduling and doing a VA session. It just won't happen. So we need to figure out how to get the VA sessions to happen. That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
So I'm fine changing everything. We can just get rid of all of it if the VA sessions happen. But right now they're not, and so that's unacceptable, right? So that's what we need to figure out how to solve, and that's my number one priority, but we didn't get to it today. So let's make sure we make that a priority next step. That would be obviously a priority for you as the deputy coordinator,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lucy, were you going to help out with the income at all, or the value tracking?
I don't know what EJ's value tracking is.
So we had a preparation.
Time to take a break. Please stop, write down whatever you were about to say, and take a break for 6 minutes.
So we did a lot of preparation, I feel like. Overall for Andromeda, we did. I started half an hour late, but you were here the whole time, right? Lucy, you got here on time?
Yes, I was here the
So
whole
the
time.
2.5 hours for Andromeda. So you did the full 2.5 hours. I probably did 2 hours, and then Namish, I don't know, maybe you did 1.75 hours because you did a little bit less.
Namish or me? Nnamno?
Nnamno, yes. Sorry. All right, so then you worked on some setup and RTVA communications, RTVA coordination. What were you saying?
No, just following.
Are you? Oh, there we go. Payroll setup. So anyways, we just come in here, we get all the line numbers for all of our work, and we add it up, make sure it's organized and clear.
So how are we doing the hours now? RTVA coordination and communication.
Yeah, I'm just trying. My computer's going super slow, so I'm just trying to to look it up. All right, here we go. So Andromeda is line 17. RTVA communications is line 31. And RTVA coordination is line 120. Payroll setup is line 59.
Andromeda?
What? Andromeda, line 17.
17.
That looks correct, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Nnamno?
Just trying to understand that again.
Oh,
That's the time tracking, right?
Yeah, the time tracking. So for column H, that has you. This is you on column H. So we just spent 1.75 hours for Andromeda. So if I was going to my time tracking, I would go in here. I would say.
Can you send us this spreadsheet? Where did you see? I don't find this.
It's on the value tracking channel.
Okay.
All right, so today is Tuesday, February 13, 14. So we are on day 4. And so I would say, okay, 1.75 hours.
No, that's me. You are 2. You are 2.
What? I also like to link my spreadsheets here. And then we go to RTVA coordination. So I did coordination. You guys would not be doing coordination. 5 hours. And then also we did prep up. We are 0.5. Maybe some tangents too. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Not a lot to it. And then yesterday I forgot to track the orientation session. I can't remember how long it lasted, but I think it lasted like 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. So I would track that.
And bring time to start. Please get focused on the session.
Because we spent another hour or so to deliberate, then where we had Lucy come in and all of that.
Okay, well, I don't know how long I did. I did like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. But anyways.
No, you did more than 2 hours. You did more than 2 hours with us. I think it's 2 or 5. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I'm good on the time tracking. So I'm going to take a 30-minute break and then be back for the top of the hour for Cobalt. Okay.
Okay.
And Nnamno, your number one priority should be getting scheduled on the regular scheduled sessions. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. I'll talk to you later. Good work.
Okay. Let me track my hours before I go.
Lucy?
Yes.
Sorry to want to push you again into this. So he said my priority should be scheduling the normal schedule. So that means okay, so I'm still trying to get this.
Just try your best. This is the only thing I can say. Just try where you can manage. If not, Your priority is thing to for now. You're still learning. You cannot know exactly the priorities because if you go to FQN, we have a lot of things. Just the one you learn and just one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
RTVA. So team approved schedule, right?
Yeah, these are TVA. These not the issue. Big issue. Even
So I
to
want.
me,
Mhm.
yeah, it's just an issue. And that one.
So how do I schedule for it? You already know how to schedule. So
You want to take RTVA session?
um yeah, I just want to do the normal scheduling.
The normal scheduling, just go
Mhm.
to okay. Go to do you have that spreadsheet?
I think I have. So which spreadsheet are we going to use?
The one it has all the details. It's team and
Not the main sheets.
team schedule. The one you were showing, let me share my screen, then take the break for the next session. Oh my god, just frustrating. Here is the team scheduling. The normal schedule, you just this is the one. You have to update your name.
Mhm.
Anyway, you're here where you see people are scheduled. The time you are available up to this one. Yes.
The
Then,
up.
then for RTVA it is here on the same spreadsheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have.
Then
I have
commitment.
this.
Yeah, this person is not even there. Gone. This is gone. Even Jennifer Merrill. Okay, we got almost everybody is here are gone.
People left
Yes, of course.
because it's so hard, right?
Aha. I can't say anything.
Okay. So I'm going down to Octant. Um,
Mhm.
I'm scheduling when that should be Wednesday, Thursday, right?
Yeah, the one you feel like the when you are present because okay, you just schedule what where you like to appear on the session.
Yeah, because
No,
right now I'm
yeah,
gonna
not
be
all.
around for this session that you are having with him.
Then you go to here down here on Kabal. You
Where
see Kabal line 30 line 40. Place your name there.
line 40,
Mm-hmm.
line 40. Okay, okay. That is Jay and Lucy.
Yes. So you
Okay.
can assign your name there so we take the break so that we cannot break the policies. You know these policies are too much. There's so many. And this
Okay.
policy is just is like a punishment or training, you know, what to call it all. I don't know. That's most of the policies here. When you are going to do the payroll, is gonna be deducted on our payroll, on our bonuses.
So what it means is that we're never going to get the actual pay that we are supposed to get.
You are getting the pay. You're going to get the pay, but according to I don't know. You'll just see. I'll just the only thing I'm just telling, just see what is going on there, and yeah,
Okay.
yes, okay. Let's just stop from here. Just you'll
Mhm.
just have to learn. It's just most of the thing here need to be learned. You just when you
Mhm.
learn, you take one step at a time. You'll get there.
Yeah.
And the policies are there to guide us. It helps us also maybe to, for us African, we don't have more things to do like policy on time. We have different things, but we are learning a different culture, different
Hmm.
people. Yes.
Okay, no
Okay.
problem. Let's take the break.
You
No.
already assign yourself, right?
Yes,
Or
I
you,
put it.
or you put it on that only, or on everywhere, that any place that you like to attend a session, you just put your name there. If you're not going to be present, then you just like, you communicate. I'm not going to be present for today's session. Check on
Okay.
the on Discord. Okay, let's
Okay.
take a break. We are a Guinness policy.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay.